Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my August wrap up. In August, my goal, my challenge, my reading challenge was to try and catch up with what I've been calling my pile of shame. So basically books that I had started sometimes months ago and never finished, but also to make it more fun for myself, try to also catch up to a bunch of series that I just still hadn't read the second or third book in, again, months. So let's see how I did. I had been in a reading slump, not gonna lie. I think we all know at this point, most of the year because pandemic. But I did pretty good. I finished reading 6 books and I DNF'd 2, like officially will not attempt them again. So 8 books, not too bad. I'm also in the middle of like 3 different ones, but progress as we can tell. So let's get into it and I shall review them in order that I was done with them. The order I finished them. That's what I meant. I finished The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence, which is the first book in the Ice series by him, which is in the same universe as the Ancestor trilogy that I've been raving about. So I was super excited about this one. I got it as an ARC. It was sent to my old place, so I only got it, was it 2 months ago? And I started reading it, and I finally finished it. I'm very much torn about this. First off, actually, in some of my TBRs, I mentioned it, and I really thought that when the character in here, Yaz, was the same one, I think Zola from the first trilogy. What is wrong with me? I don't know why I thought they were the same people. I think it's because they're from the same tribe. I have no idea if this is happening after or before the other trilogy. I would have to look it up. But I was super disappointed by this. I think I gave it 2 stars. I'm not even sure if I rounded it up to 3. Frankly, not a lot happens. Like, this book is 360 something pages. I feel like I can't say too much about the story because it's like everything is a spoiler because not that much happens. But you follow the main character, and I did enjoy that it was part of the same universe because I love the magic system and it's kind of a post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic setting. But yes, not a ton happened. And the character, because of the way she isn't necessarily super likable, but not like any, oh, she's doing awful things, so I don't really care for her. I know some people just don't like unlikable characters. I do. But she just has no personality, I felt like. And I do feel like the next books would probably open up the world again and probably finally get around to explaining some of the stuff that wasn't explained in the other series. But I feel like I just don't care at this point because this was so disappointing. So I think I will wait to see what other people say about the rest of the series. But as of now, I don't think I will be continuing just because I really didn't care for this. I just expected so much more. And yeah, I struggled to finish it even though it's like written humongous and I let down. One book that was part of my pile of shame since February, 2001 A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. You're going to notice in my videos I'm going to be struggling because I'm wearing Invisaligns and I have to change them every week. So I have no time to get used to them and like it switches. I'm really sorry. I'm doing my best. But I finally got around to continuing this. This is a classic sci-fi. Everyone is always saying that, you know, it's one of the best ones out there. And I did like some bits a lot and some parts I didn't really care for. I feel like the writing in his books, this is my 3rd book by the author, is kind of dry. But I had read the first part whenever I was doing that challenge in February. And I really thought that was super good. So I was excited to continue. And I felt like it kind of went like this throughout the whole book. Some parts I really enjoyed, could not put down. Some of the ones I could barely read 30 pages in a day because I was kind of bored. There are a few twists that are really interesting. This was part of my reading vlog, my pile of shame one. So if you want to see some quotes and everything, I recommend you check that out. But the ending was just a bit too weird for me. Like, does anybody else agree? I feel like it kind of just left me on the note by the end. I thought I was going to watch a movie, but I realized there's only an old one and I don't really care for old movies, so I just never got around to watching it. I thought there was a more modern one, but so yeah, I'm really torn because again, some bits are super interesting and some of the ones were just, so I think I'm giving it a 3.5 stars. I understand the hype, but I don't know, I feel like the writing and just some stuff just didn't really work with me. Another book that I finished during that reading vlog, Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the 2nd book in this now announced trilogy. I had loved Children of Time, which is the first book. I had mentioned that it's like intelligent spiders and it's just like against humanity basically. And it was fantastic. The ending was such a like interesting, unique twist that I did not see coming. I highly recommend it. So when book 2 was announced and came out in May last year, I obviously bought it right away and didn't read it until this month because, not gonna lie, also disappointed by that one. It felt a little too similar, like setup wise. Every time in both books, I feel like he plays with timelines a bit, which is interesting, but makes it quite confusing. In this one, you're following humans, the spiders, and octopuses. Octopuses. That's how they decide to call them in there. I don't know. I don't know. I really like some parts of it, but I feel like other parts were kind of confusing, and the ending is obviously left open for a third book, so that's, you know, exciting if you are into it, but I feel like everyone is going to be feeling quite different about it. I really enjoyed, I feel like it's the second book, so I can't say too much, but I really enjoyed how the octopuses, you know, came to be, how they are. I did enjoy seeing the planets. I'm keeping it vague. Didn't really care for like, oh, a bigger, badder thing than from the first book. I feel like it's gonna keep doing that maybe for a third book, which is but yes, I feel like if you have read it, you kind of know what I mean. So I'm left a little about it. I thought I was going to like it more. The only good thing is that that's a thick book that I did finish. So one book that I was dying to read and just did once again a reading vlog on, I finally read The Name the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Adult fantasy that is super well known. You see it on so many lists of like best book of all time, you know, especially fantasy ones. And I was super nervous to read it because first off, the third book hasn't even been announced, and I hate waiting for the next book in a series, but everyone seems to love it, so I feel like there's that pressure of liking it too. And then I feel like the more I was nervous about it, the more people in the comment section would tell me, oh no, you're not gonna like it. And I'm like, well, damn, you know? I did read it, and I gave it 4 stars. Basically, my reason for wanting to read it is that there's a magical school setting, which I will forever read all the books with that premise. You're following that man retelling his life story to a chronicler, and I believe it's like 3 books because it's 3 different days of him telling his life story. So this is the first day, and it is his childhood and then the magical school, which I was super into. And then there's a portion that he kind of like goes out of his way. It's not a spoiler. And I was not super into that, slash the romance. I'm not into romance in general, but I just didn't really care for the love interest. And there are a few twists at the end, which I reacted in the vlog if you want to hear more of my thoughts, but we're going to keep this spoiler free. I announced it in the vlog. There's like no spoiler. I feel like most people that hate this book is usually because the main character is seen as a Mary Sue. And my take on it so far, after only reading the first one, I need to read the second one. So far, I feel like maybe he's just like being kind of judging a little bit himself while he's telling the story. Like, I used to be, you know, kind of cocky and kind of this, kind of that. So far, that's how I'm seeing it. I feel like I might change my mind later on. But I wasn't too bothered by it. It's just a few times that he's supposed to be like 15 at one point, and like people are scared of him, and it makes no sense. So like if they knew he was, you know, powerful magician maybe, but like so yes, overall I enjoyed it. A few twists by the end that are interesting. It does end on an interesting note, so I am very excited to continue. I did DNF 2 different books that I had been reading for months, slash they were part of my pile of shame. The first one was Imaginary Friend, which I had started because it was technically kind of part of my Goodreads reading challenge, which I need to like check if I'm up to date because the end of the year is approaching really fast. But this is part of the horror section, and you're following a group of kids, or especially this specific one. I was listening to it as an audiobook, and not a lot happened in the first like 30%. That's why when it was returned to my library, I wasn't really in a rush to continue. But obviously with this month, with the challenge, I decided to get it again and try it again. And I only went like 10% further into it. I just don't really care about horror books with children, slash when I felt like I was still not going anywhere. It's a really big book, by the way. It's like 800 pages or something. So like 40% is still almost a full book, right? I went ahead and read the reviews, and they were pretty much negative, slash people were saying it got weirder and more religious, which, so I just decided that was, you know, the last drop. I was done with it. So officially DNF'd it. So that's not a bad thing. You know, it's off away from, I can take it out of my pile of shame. Same thing with Wanderers, which, not gonna lie, did not even start reading it. I was 80 something percent into it. I had gotten it twice from my library as an audiobook. So that's like 42 days. And I got it a third time for this month and did not even listen to it 1 second. I'm a little disappointed, but I think it's just like clear that I'm not going to, you know, finish it ever. So let's just take it out of the pile of shame. It is a post-apocalyptic book. I feel like I've read so many. I used to be really obsessed with that premise, and I realized that none of them ever became a favorite. So maybe it's a sign that maybe I don't like them that much. And I feel like this one was like so many other ones, like a group of people walking. Like, how many times have we read the same thing, right? So yeah, things were getting a bit more interesting by the end, but I still didn't really care enough. I probably will. I haven't done that yet. I need to like go ahead and read some like spoiler reviews just to see how it ends, to see if it was worth DNFing it. But I'm done with it. The next book I finished was Leviathan Wigs, which I had also started in February. It was also part of, was it the same shelf? Like a sci-fi shelf? And everyone raves about this series. I think they have like, there's like 8 books, and there's a TV show that I still am hoping to get into. I think I'm going to try to do it before the end of the year to try it, just because I will include this most likely in my most disappointing books of the year. I'm realizing a lot of like meh books, but like when you think about it, very often some books you put down and you're like, I'm just not sure. It's probably because you have a feeling you're not gonna love them. Sometimes I'm surprised, but this one, I would say things were really good, especially like at around 50%. I feel like things really picked up. There were some twists. It was interesting. And then I kind of just didn't really care about the rest. So that's why I think I'm going to just watch a TV show, see if it's worth continuing the series or not, because I'm still open to it. This one has one of the funniest quotes ever. I included that also in my, I think it was the vlog about the name of the wind, but let me include the quote right here. The moon itself, Phoebe, filled the frame, turning slowly to show all sides like a prostitute at a cheap brothel. Why? Like, just why? When people ask me like, oh, you're always, you know, mentioning these things, that's the reason why. Like, what does it have to do with anything that happens in the book? Nothing. So yeah, that was just, yeah, no comment. I think I'm giving it 2.5 stars. There were some interesting bits, like I said, but even though like in theory I feel like it's an interesting story, because the bits that are interesting are kind of spoiler, so I'm not going to say it, but I just didn't really care about the characters. Like, I didn't feel invested in the story whatsoever, so that's why, again, TV show, and we'll see if I get the second book or not. Last but not least, the last book I did finish this month was Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Marie. This book is only coming out in January, I think, from next year, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to review it or not, so I'm gonna keep it vague. But this is a 6th book in this series. Every time, is it a 6th or 5th? 6th one. I feel like every single time I tell myself I'm not going to continue the series, and every time I still read the next book. I really loved the fact that the main character is intersex. So I feel like her books always have really great representation. I think that's one of the reasons they're really popular, especially on Booktube. I feel like they're usually categorized as YA, but for some reason this one felt more middle school to me. I don't know if anybody else will. If anyone had the arc and read it, let me know, let me know whenever you do get around to reading it. You're following this girl that loves horses, and she goes to a universe where people, because that's what the premise is, didn't mention it, but kids going to like magical universes think Narnia. I feel like everyone knows that, but and then, you know, she gets to live around centaurs and unicorns, which I feel like they have some great life lessons, and they're very inclusive and about, you know, children finding their place in the world. So they're good in theory, but like I'm not really a middle grade reader, so it's one of those situations where it's not the book's fault, it's definitely a me thing. So it's a good book, I'm just not the right audience for it. So I think that officially I should stop reading the next book. I think this might be the last one though, but yeah, good book, just not for me. So these are the books that I finished / officially DNF'd in August. Please let me know in the comment section if you have read any of them, what you think about them. Also, let me know what books you did finish this month. Did you find any new favorites? Did anyone actually try to also read A Pile of Shames? How did it go? I feel like it was successful number-wise. I didn't really find any new favorites, although this one maybe, but it wasn't part of the Pile of Shame, right? But I still feel accomplished. I still feel like I've reduced my number by a lot. And I'm currently actually listening to, reading The Toll by Neil Schusterman, which was also kind of like Children of Ruin, a book that I had been meaning to read forever. So yes, let me know in the comment section, thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out. And I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye.